remember making a big deal about Augur the old ones when it came out.
Yeah,
So I'm like, look, I've been doing the math. I dug in. There's only regeneration on 2 cards in Legends of Runeterra, and it's Trundle and Garen, and the stupid Scar Mother thing, the 4/5 Overwhelm regen that nobody plays. So the ability to give Overwhelm onto something, as well as regeneration, it's a very powerful, underrated keyword just because we haven't seen it so much. I did a whole video on it, and then I just like played Sejuani Swain to Masters real quick. I think it was Bomb Swain, actually. Trundle Swain. It was Trundle Swain, because Trundle was broken, and giving Overwhelm regen to Swain was broken.
Yeah, Overwhelm regen, Jesus.
I was like, yeah, let me just attack with Swain. They're like, I have a 3/2 blocker. I'm like, cool. I deal an Overwhelm damage and touch your Nexus, and you take more damage. And then, oh, look, my Swain regen.
Speaking of lifesteal, I got a tasty Fae Folk in hand here, so we'll see if that's going to come in handy.
Well, I guess we got to figure out how this Lee Sin Scion matchup goes.
All right, let's.
So why on earth was Scion not banned?
See, that's why I said you were so like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a ban on Scion, but
yeah. So as casters,
I don't know,
me
man.
and Doza have even like talked about this when we get into bigger tournaments, where we try to avoid talking about bans because like
we're never right. It's always
an objectively right answer, but even if we feel like we're more correct, it feels weird to get up on here and be like, yeah, we know better than the player.
Well, and it's card games too. Like I feel like every card game ever, it seems like there's objectively right decisions, but at the end of the day, everything's subjective because there could still be RNG involved that just completely just tosses that to the side.
Even if we are objectively right, nobody wants to hear us say that. Nobody wants us to get up here and be like, yeah, this player doesn't know what they're doing. We obviously know better. Like that's just not good commentary. So we try to avoid just talking about bans in general because like the player might just have a different mindset than we do. And even if we are right, it's not as interesting. So in this case, I think we're right. But like, again, who really cares?
Everybody's sick of hearing you say you're right, Boulevard, all right? Can you
I'm just right so goddamn often, all right? If someone else could get up here and be right as often as I am, you wouldn't have to hear me say it all the time.
Well, I do want to say here in the finals, Chekhov off to an amazing start. Kwoth seemingly overextending a little bit, trying to get the challenger and quick attack keyword combo that's generally pretty good to take care of the Fallen Rider here, but Fallen Rider discarding survival skills, keeping it alive, this is going to lead to a very big open attack, or we can go ahead and do this, which I do like as well because we have the Rummage burst open, but if we go that route now, this 4/2 tasty Fae Folk is going to heal up a little bit. The question is, do we still just go for it? Or do we just open attack and trade with the Fae Folk? Which might lead to a twin discipline.
It's a little risky to go for the Rummage attack because there's still going to be the lifesteal coming down onto the Flame Chompers, as well as like then the Tasty gets to attack again next turn. Yep. And if there's some kind of protection for it, which there is, we see this Twin Disciplines, then it just really, all of a sudden, this Tasty Fae Folk has gained like 12 health for Kwoth.
Yep.
And we're even going to see it here, using this this Twin Discipline to try and have it survive the interaction.
Only 1 health left, though, which is a little risky. And okay,
I like blocking the 4/2 more because I don't think there is actually a difference between 1 and 2 health here.
Yeah, because either Mystic Shot kills it or it kills it. So it doesn't really matter.
There are no spinning axes in hand, so you know you don't need to worry about that. But there's no like Time Winder or Static Shock in Chekhov's deck, so yeah, it could trade on. Now it can get blocked by a Daring Poro, which I am not sure was happening anyway. Another Auction pickup is actually really big for Kwoth. We saw him hang on to that additional Auction a little bit earlier on because you really need to wait until the countdown completes to ensure that you're going to get the Warlord's Horde, as well as open up Absolver maybe before the Lee Sin is leveled. But got it down now, have the retreat to protect it. This is going to level up the Auction, and we are going to get our first Relic of Power, which is probably going to predict and draw a card.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Auction coming in, going to trade with something unless there's no block, which I wouldn't be surprised if there's no block on the Auction. And yeah, there is the Daring Poro trade you're talking about.
I thought it would be Precious Pet.
Or Boom Baboon. Okay, valuing the Fearsome more than the Boom Baboon.
Auction's going to level, so we can't attack with Precious Pet.
Yeah, so that's a little strange.
Unless we're killing this Auction with the Get Excited?
Well, if we're going to do that, we might as well do it now, right? To avoid taking damage.
I think that Chekhov is thinking about the blocks before we commit the Get Excited. No, not going to be the case.
Wow, okay. I am very confused. All right, well, we'll see what Chekhov's got up their sleeve here in a second. We are still threatening a lot of damage, but the lifesteal from this Tasty Fae Folk, the 2 Fae Folk hits are doing work right now. And now that Akshan's online, we have a Lee Sin in hand. I mean, it's very, very possible Lee Sin actually ends the game quite soon, Boulevard.
Yeah, we need Overwhelm first, and we don't find it here off of this Relic of Power, instead of getting Concussive Palms and Sonic Waves. This... you kind of want the Palm, right? Like, this feels like a skip, but the Palm is the only defense you would have against a Scion, which you probably want some level of protection against that monstrosity.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Preservarian pretty big, too, being able to draw some more resources here. Things are looking okay for Kwoth. Because the good thing for Kwoth is that if you do assemble an OTK with Lee Sin, there's pretty much no way Chekhov's going to be able to deal with it. It's just a matter of how quickly can we assemble that OTK. And honestly, we're not doing half bad right now. I mean, we almost have the second landmark. I mean, after a few more targets and whatnot, we should be pretty good. There's a Farron and a Scion, though. So we got 7 and 8. Chekhov might be able to close the game out on the 8th turn here with the attack token.
Yeah, and Kwoth's hand is not looking well-equipped to handle this. Even if we play the Lee Sin, it's actually really difficult to give the Lee Sin barrier or effectively take advantage of its challenger.
Yep.
Because we need to save that Twin Disciplines for when Lee Sin is leveled, because at the moment, Absolver Returns only threatens 16 damage on a leveled Lee Sin unless we can get the +2/+2 spell shield. And I feel like we might need to draw with our Fount of Power in order to find the Absolver, because yes, Spell Shield Lee Sin is good, but not if we don't have Overwhelm. I don't know that Kwoth is going to have the time to assemble the pieces, but we've got a few more draws. We've got a few more targets. We can probably make it happen. It's just a matter of, is it going to happen in time? Because Chekhov is going to get that Scion into the Captain Farron, and we are out of defensive spells in Kwoth's hand.
Yeah. I think Kwoth, I mean, we're going to have the attack token on turn 7. I think Kwoth is honestly, from the looks of it, going to be assembling that OTK on turn 9, and that's a tad bit too late. that's not going to do it.
Also, Lee Sin's only half leveled. You know, without the cantrips of Targon, like Pale Cascade and Guiding Touch and things like that, and since Kwoth hasn't had an Eye of the Dragon this entire time, we just haven't been able to play enough spells to get the Lee Sin leveled. Now, in terms of defensive capabilities, I do want to point out, we do have Retreat, which can give us another Concussive Palm.
Ooh. Another Lee Sin is pretty big, too, but we're still not going to be able to assemble the pieces this turn.
Yeah, we might be able to, like... We can level Lee Sin with Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, Shapestone, and the Twin Discipline, which would also give us the count down the Warlord's Palace. So we've got some options outside of Kwoth. We don't have the mana to play Lee Sin and do all of that, though, so it's not actually going to happen this turn.
Yeah, this is what I mean, especially because we have 2 palaces on board now. Like, turn 9 is the turn. So I think the question for Kwoth is, how do we live to turn 9? Because you got to think that Chekhov's probably going to want to play something like this Scion. You don't have the Concussive Palm like you were talking about earlier.
And it's really awkward because you need to Concussive Palm, or you need to retreat the Tail of the Dragon before combat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the retreat just goes on the stack when blockers are being declared, then Concussive Palm goes to your hand, and then all of the attacks go through because you don't have a priority sequence. So you need to do it proactively, but Chekhov has Get Excited mana. And I really don't think you want to be committing Twin Discipline to save Tail of the Dragon to get Concussive Palm back to your hand. And if you do all of that, that's your entire turn. You can't play Lee Sin this turn and do that.
Yeah, this will be another strike from Akshan as well, though. So get some of those ticks towards the Palace countdowns. Maybe this is the first time I've seen this. Does he only count down 1 Palace?
Leveled Akshan does not count down Warlord's Horde. He only counts down Warlord's Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense if that's how it's worded on the card, but that kind of seems...
Well, it's because it's worded as when I'm summoned, level up or strike, summon or advance the Warlord's
Warlord's
Horde by 1.
Yeah,
so It no longer has a text pertaining to Palace.
I feel like you should do both.
It'd just be a lot of text. So one thing that I learned from just speaking with Rioters is that, like, one of the big things is you are very limited to the amount of words that you can put on a card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, max characters. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to get the Concussive Palm.
This could be the Get Excited, and then do we feel like committing? Oh, no Get Excited. Just going to let the Concussive Palm ride out, which I think Chekhov is fine with, and just says, hey, I'm going to play Captain Farron next turn.
Yep, here we go. This is going to be turn 8, and from the looks of it, I do not think... Let's see. Lee Sin blocking is 5. So right now, even just with the 3-3 and the 3-5 on board, you're looking at 12 damage. We do have a Twin Disciplines that actually does prevent that, but then you also have to worry about this 2 damage coming in from both the Daring Poros.
Yeah, it's a matter of does Chekhov play Captain Farron, or do they try to go wider and overwrite some of these weaker units? Because Arachnoid Sentry offensively here looks pretty good.
Okay. If Farron gets played, we could also Grappling Hook after a buff on Lee Sin to either the Scion or the Farron. I think the Farron obviously makes the most sense. And
do you want to like? Well,
I think we live. We have to play Twin Disciplines. We have to play Shapestone, and then we play Grappling Hook, and we get rid of the Farron. And I think we live.
Right. And then how do we win the game when we've used Twin Discipline and Shapestone defensively?
I am only worried about living, okay? I said was we live, okay? That's it.
So we are at a point where since Chekhov is down to 13, or down to 15 rather, all we need is Absolver, and Lee Sin presents lethal because he will be 16 damage.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The Palm, I mean, does Palm on Farron also just accomplish, like, we live?
If you block Scion with Lee Sin, then Chekhov can get excited it to finish it off.
Well, we have another Lee Sin in hand. Okay, we're gonna.
No, I mean to finish off Scion.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so all right, we're gonna stun the Scion.
Yeah, and then we're gonna see how we want to deal with this Captain Farron. It's very, if Kwoth can survive this turn, I really actually like their odds of winning the game between the deep meditation and the countdown completion of the Warlord's Horde.
I think we survive. Yeah, we only take 2 damage, which means we survive.
If we don't win next turn, we are just dead to double decimate.
Oh yeah, 100%. So this is why I said this 5 turns ago. Turn 9 is the turn. This is the turn, and we, not for nothing, we do have deep med as well, and we finally have this the Warlord's Palace that just gave us a spell. So
we have very good chances at finding lethal here for Kwoth.
This is good.
And Chekhov really doesn't have a lot to do about it. The best you could hope for is top decking a second Get Excited so that you can kill whatever unit the Lee Sin is going after. And that's really the only way that Chekhov can try and survive here if Kwoth does find the Absolver returns. Because it's all going to happen at burst speed, right? That's the advantage of having this burst speed overwhelm onto the Lee Sin, is there's no time for Chekhov to play Arachnoid Sentry.
You know, it does feel bad about this Warlord's Palace, though, a lot of the time. You know, you come into situations like this where it's fleeting and you have to play it this turn. And you can't get the draw and the reduction on the attack turn like you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the inherent downsides of playing the Akshan Lee Sin version.
We do find Shadow Assassins. We've got a little bit more draw.
Yep. Yeah, we can play it now, yep.
22, yep, there's a Sonic Wave. And don't forget, the Warlord's Palace, if that counts down as well, we get another draw.
And we do not need... Okay. I think we have it. I think we have it.
4 men left.
We have it. We have it. We have it with you. Wow. All right. There's the Absolver. We have Absolver's Return coming out next, and that's going to be just enough damage with nothing that Chekhov can do to prevent this. Turn 9, baby. Lee Sin lethal coming in hot. Wow. Great job with Kwoth navigating that last turn there, because we knew it was going to be turn 7 and 8 where Chekhov pushed.
Should full Scion? It doesn't matter here specifically, but this fails to play around Get Excited Mystic Shot or like Mystic Shot Ravenous Flock, because there is a flock in Chekhov's deck, but doesn't have it here. The Lee Sin is going to find the lethal, as we had mentioned, does find the Absolver's Return just in the nick of time with the 4 mana left in order to play it. And I mean, Chekhov, do you ever think about maybe blocking the Akshan on the previous turn so that you're still at the 18 health so that you're outside the range of that? I think there was still 1 mana left over.
We still had Shapestone.
Anyway.
Yeah. We had enough buffs pretty much from 20.
Just an insane amount of draw power from Kwoth in the final turn there, and now Lee Sin takes out the Draven Scion.
Wow. All right.
So now, I would imagine that it was the Bandle Pirates that was banned. Cannot imagine a world where it was the Teemo Swain. So that does mean that this last deck, the Bandle Pirates for Kwoth, the aggressively statted version of Bandle Pirates for Kwoth, is going to have to take out Draven Scion and the Bandle Pirates Mirror. Or the Teemo Swain, rather, sorry.
All right. Draven Scion versus Ping Poke Pirates.
You didn't even say Bandle.
I'm just gonna say whatever comes to my brain in the first few seconds now.
I'm curious how long it's gonna be before we just start calling this pirate aggro.
Yeah, right.
Just completely phase out the Misfortune, Gangplank, Noxus, Bilgewater stuff. Because like some people tried to do that with Scion. They were like, "Oh, you mean discard?" I'm like, "No, that's Jinx Draven. You don't just get to eliminate that deck from history. That's discard."
Nah, you can't eliminate Jinx. Jinx is a very specific win condition. This is a mid range, right? Wasn't that the original argument that this is a mid range deck and not aggro?
Discard aggro and discard mid range, and I've gotten to a point where I don't even call it Raven Scion. I just call it Scion. I'm like, there's one Scion deck. You know what I'm talking about. Well, what about Shadow Isle Scion? Shut up.
Shadow Isle Scion.
I've seen it before. It'll make a return eventually. It isn't good.
Well, we not in that great of a spot for Kwoth right now. We did get this Sump Dredger down, so it's going to be a pretty decent blocker for both the units Kwoth has down. Not sure if we can go wide enough here. All right, TF off the top, and then Mirai Warden is going to allow us to go pretty wide, so I do like the Mirai Warden.
Yeah, pre-nerf, this was around a 50-50 matchup, like 1 or 2 points favored for the Bandle Pirates, at least from like ladder stats, but for the most part, I don't think Bandle Pirates players were confident into the Scion matchup, but things not looking too bad for Kwoth here as they're able to go extremely wide. And these Arachnoid Sentries are like fine, but I don't think they're what you want to be finding as Chekhov in a matchup like this.
Yeah, and so we can actually make it rain and parlay here to kill the Arachnoid Sentry and deal some damage and go in for a full attack on the side of Kwoth. Now that is a big investment, but you know, if Kwoth is going to win this specific matchup, it's not from going into the later parts of the game. I mean, we need to rush.
Because you're on the triple double up, you need to just smork as hard as possible, right? And I don't know if it's going to be make it rain parlay or if it's just going to be something like, okay, yeah, it is going to be the make it rain parlay. I was thinking it could just be line them up, knock them down as well.
Yep, there it is. And parlay also going to deal additional damage as well. And the good thing about, you know, with Draven Scion anyways, with those late game double ups, we'll see if this comes into play, but we do have a Mystic Shot. If a double up comes down, that was weird, double up comes down, then you can't actually Mystic Shot your own unit to prevent that from going off. So just something to keep in mind, but we are going to Mystic Shot the 3-1 here, get rid of it. A good one drop by the Mirai Warden, by the way. We just kind of glossed over that. 3-1 definitely pressures a lot of damage. And Chekhov already down to 12. Another Rummage. Not great here. We only have one good discard target.
Yeah, Chekhov's hand's looking rough. And if there was perfect information available, Kwoth would actually probably just like gold card this. Gonna do it anyways. We got 3 mana. There's not a lot that you could have here.
Yeah, and this is gonna lead to we even have the Crackshot Corsair that we can get down. Yeah. And there's actually no units. There's no units Chekhov can play.
Yeah. Actually, you know, the more I think about it, the more like the gold card just kind of makes sense here because red card, it progresses the GP level up, pushes a little bit of Nexus damage, but like this kills the unit, which is just going to push more damage inherently. You're not really worried about taking damage of your own, and Kwoth just needs to play this as aggressively as possible and try to control the board as well as they can in order to push through this last bit of damage because 12 is not a lot of life when your board is this wide. And Chekhov just not finding the cards that you would want to. There's another Twisted Fate.
Wow, this is so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage coming in hot.
There's 3 more in the hand of Kwoth.
Yeah.
1 more if this Twisted Fate ever dies.
Oh, wow.
But we don't have an answer for the Scion. So this is going to be a lot of damage in response from Chekhov. Let's see what we can find here. Mirai Warden. It's okay. Doesn't really protect us too much.
Does allow us to go really wide for the next attack turn, though. So we'll see if that's gonna matter.
Pick a card, though.
All right. And keeping the lineup up, which I do like. Some additional damage.
Here we go, though. Here's the Scion turn. Scion's gonna come down leveled as he tends to.
Hidden Pathways off the top. Great. All right. So if Chekhov
5 out of 9.
So TF could level.
Before we see Pathways into Pathways, I just want to mention TF's 5 out of 9. Gonna start off with a Poro Cannon, discarding Captain Farron.
And
just go wide. say, hey, I did the math. If I play Scion here, I probably just die.
Yeah, which is probably a good guess. There's the double up, too. We have more than enough damage and resources on the side of Kwoth to close us out between this turn and next. So Chekhov has to win here. And, yep, there's the Scion. I don't think Chekhov's got this Boulevard.
Well, we don't have a double up target because we do not have the mana to play something that generates a keg and double up this turn. And there is a universe, I think, where Chekhov can top deck the burn.
Yep.
Because you're preventing, like, nothing is able to block this Twin Blade Revenant, thanks to the Fearsome. Shout out Fearsome. And then the Overwhelm from the Scion, you probably don't want to block it with anything other than a Dreadway Deckhand. But if you play Dreadway Deckhand, Scion just pulls the keg, and then you're down to 5. And you are dead to a Get Excited and a Mystic Shot, which is still in the realm of possibility because Chekhov has Rummage.
All right, we'll see. Scion reared and ready to go here for the attack. Also, I mean, no blockers for the Twin Blade Revenant, so...
Yeah, but Kwoth does just have keg double up onto the Twin Blade Revenant for lethal next turn if Chekhov can't close it out here or find something to save that unit. And I don't think you can find anything to save that unit. It's either going to be a burn spell or kill your opponent, and Survival Skills is obviously going to hit Scion, so...
you could Get Excited your own unit, but...
Yeah, but it's like if you find the burn, you want to be able to burn out your opponent since you are 5.
All right, we're down to 6. And no rally, thanks to Scion not dying, which is good for Kwoth. There's 1 keg.
There's a lot of damage being presented by Kwoth.
Oh, there's an Inventive Chemist.
This is going to be the final turn, Doza.
Yep.
Is Kwoth going to be the OLS champion, or will DrChekhov be able to take us to a game number 3
Zone
here?
Knight Urchin's not it, Boulevard.
Can still find double Get Excited, but it is so unlikely.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you
We're digging.
Kwoth has lethal in response.
Survival skills not going to do it.
Nope.
And I do think,
it's just a little bit too much damage. We see the OK from Chekhov. A top 4 finish followed by a finals finish, but the win still eludes them. And Kwoth is going to be the OLS number 33 champion, 2-0ing Draven Scion.